how'd you get here?
Sonic Momentum has to be one of the best Sonic fan games I have ever played. This is a modern Sonic momentum-based platformer that is entirely 2D. I don't know if you can tell, but this is insanely cool for a lot of reasons. First of all, let me talk about the things that I was a little worried about. I was really worried about the moveset, because I had seen a lot of people saying this was not traditional Sonic movement. There were a lot of things that were just completely different about this experience, and it wasn't really like anything I had played before. And I have played a lot of Sonic fan games, a lot of Sonic ROM hacks, where people will try to make Sonic's moveset better, or at the very least different, and they'll add a lot of moves that really don't complement his move style, and it'll just be a worse experience overall. And sometimes games will just try too many things all at once and create a moveset that is way too fucking complicated for its own good. It would just way too complicated. However, this game did it so well, I was actually thrown aback. Much like my fucking cheeks, they were getting thrown back, bro. Like, my expectations were thrown back. That was a terrible joke. But moving on, I went into this expecting to not like the moveset, and I came out loving it. There's so many things that work well in tandem here that it's amazing. So you have the usual kind of like roll button, right? Which usually that's just down for a lot of these 2D Sonic fan games. It's actually a button here because it also acts kind of like a little air dash, and you can press it in the air to do an air dash. It's also the same as the homing attack button. It's kind of like a Frontiers type game where the homing attack button is on a completely different thing, and if you mash that, it's also like a combat button, so there's a little bit of combat in here. And there's also, if you try to do like a spin dash in the air, it'll do that little air boost up thingy, and then you can press the homing attack button or the air dash button, and you can do a little air dash out of it, and it's just insane. There's a double jump, and there's so much more shit too. Like, you can do this little if you press the roll button and you're in a roll, you can do this like stop on a dime thing and turn in a different direction. It works a little bit like a drop dash in a sense, because if you land while you're rolling, you can still utilize it. You can still use it to like move very quickly in a certain direction. There's insane speedrunning tech here. There's also like the usual spin dash. It works a little differently, but very much still the same idea. So all of this works in tandem to create just a drastically different experience from anything else I have ever played. Yet at the same time, it all flows and meshes together well. It mixes into this perfect ball of movement goodness where it doesn't feel overcomplicated. Everything feels like a natural progression from the other move, and you can kind of tie everything together in a way that feels good, right, and feels natural. The only like maybe negative thing that can come from it is like if this was a real full whole ass game rather than a demo with a few levels that you could play. I think the opening level wouldn't be sufficient enough to teach people everything and then expect them to do well in these stages. I just don't think it would. I think you have to put a little more emphasis on teaching players over time rather than all at once, because even though all of these things work really well and work well in tandem and realistically fit together perfectly, teaching it all at once still does make it feel very complicated. And I think that's the only overcomplication issue we have here, is that first opening level where 1-1 teaches you everything you need to know all at once, all really quickly through a bunch of text boxes. I don't think that will work in something that's not a demo. Because it's a demo, it doesn't really matter that much, but if it does end up becoming a real full-ass game and they have a story and whatever, I definitely think they need to do a little bit of reworking on that side of things. But like, other than that, I think that there's like one more baby qualm, and it's that the aspect ratio of this is really weird. I know that you're not seeing it on the YouTube video because I cropped it a little bit, but oh my god, man, it's like this weird, like it puts the black bars, the cinematic black bars at the top or bottom. I'm not a fan of that. I wish it was a normal aspect ratio. It's the TLDR of that. But those are all of my very, very, very minor complaints. That is literally everything that I could think of, everything that I could possibly levy against against this game. Everything else works so well. First of all, they realized one of the most important parts about a Sonic fan game isn't just having the moveset ready and down. That's not all of it. Level design is mad important too, and this level design is so fucking good, man. I genuinely locked in on so many of these stages. None of these runs are particularly perfect or even necessarily good, but I had so much fun running them that even though I wasn't looking for perfect runs, even though I wasn't looking for something that would get me an S rank in the both ring and time category, I still went back and I still replayed these levels a bunch until I felt like I had done a run that was good enough for my first attempt. So I was retrying these stages a bunch. I wasn't completing them. I just like kept running them back and forth and back and forth and back and forth and back and forth. And they're so goddamn good, man. Every single one of these stages is baseline good. The level design is mwah! I don't think I've literally the like 1-7 is maybe the worst stage in the game, and it's still fun. It's still really fun. Even the tutorial is fun to speedrun. I don't really know how they did that. That's not something that you should be allowed to do. That's wild, but they're so good, and they work well with the movement systems, and oh my god, the ranking system. I think genuinely this game has found an incredibly good, if not perfect way to make sure that every single camp is happy. Literally every single camp. All the motherfuckers that love Time Attack. Me, I'm motherfuckers. All of the motherfuckers that love Time Attack. All of the motherfuckers that really love how Sonic Adventure 2 did it. How the kind of weirdo ranking score system they had that I don't like that much. Everyone will be happy here because not only is there 2 different ranking systems, but both of them work in tandem really well. So you have the time ranking system. You can get an S rank in time if you beat the level really fast, but there's also a ring ranking system. And if you collect enough rings, whatever amount of rings the stage dictates is the S rank, then you can get an S rank there. So there is not only a time attack, but also a score attack that shows off different layers of skill, which I think is an amazing way of going about it. Having one blanket ranking system is fucking terrible most of the time, because if you have a score-based ranking system, people that just want to focus on going fast, people that are speedrunners, people that want to get through the stages fast, or that are just getting through the entire game really fast, they will technically lose there, because they'll get like C ranks and D ranks or whatever. If you look at Sonic Adventure 2 speedruns, right, they will get fucking abysmal ranks, because they beat the levels really fast, but didn't take the very specific route that the devs wanted so that they could get the proper score, right? However, if it's also just time-based, then a lot of people that are more interested in the routing potential of stages, kind of score attack, it's difficult for them to really get a whole lot out of just the timing shit, because the routing there can sometimes be a little boring, and I get that. I think this has genuinely found a perfect in-between, where yes, if you go really fast and if you do well, you'll get an S rank on time, but if you're just ignoring shit and that's why you're going fast, you're not gonna get an S rank in rings. And you'll still get like a little plaque for it, and it's great, but you won't get like the perfect plaque where you S ranked everything all in one run. That is so cool. That is so cool to have different ranking systems to satisfy different people. And I think Shadow Generations has got really close to a very similar idea, where there is technically a score attack element where you have to, you know, beat enemies, and then that'll build up your chaos control, and then that'll, as a result, lower your time, so you have to route in enemies, and the routing potential there is really cool. I think this is also another great way of doing it, right? So I think we are on a path to amazing ranking systems in both Sonic fan games and also mainline Sonic games, and it's just cool, man. It's cool that I've actually been able to enjoy ranking systems and look at them and be like, yeah, these are actually good, and they incentivize better and more interesting play. And these, oh my god, this ranking system, man, the ring shit, it's actually kind of tough. It's kind of tough. I can pretty generally get S ranks on most of these stages without too much trouble, because I'm just built like that. Jokes. But like, I can generally get S ranks in the time attack relatively easily after a few runs, right? The ring shit is actually much harder because you do have to route more, particularly you have to kind of explore different pathways. You have to make sure that you're actually killing and attacking enemies. It kind of incentivizes the combat feature of this game, even though I don't think it really adds that much to have the combat feature. It's kind of like a Sonic Rush version of it, where you kind of just, it's like, it forces you to spam the homing attack, pretty much. It's kind of like in Shadow Generations, where you have to spam the homing attack on certain enemies, and it makes some homing attack chains a little more interesting. That's kind of what it does here. It's not really combat, it's not like anything insane, like a lot of other Sonic fan games do, like Sonic Heroes does even, and I think it works better for that, because it incentivizes quick skilled play, incentivizes going fast, it incentivizes actually interacting with the enemies rather than just skipping over everything. It incentivizes proper routing, and that is amazing. I love these stages, I love this movement, I love everything about it. This is an insanely good fan game. But I only played as Sonic, and there are more characters. So there's Tails, who I don't really like at all. He can fly, and that's awesome, and he can shoot like little lasers, and that'll help you build up rings really fast. But for me, someone who's really more oriented on the time attack aspect, he just felt too slow. It felt like not as much fun. But for people that are more interested in score attack, I think you can get like an absolutely insane, not only time with him, but also ring count with him. So it's not like he's a bad character or anything. He still fits within the confines of what this game is trying to do. I just don't like what he's trying to do. I don't like the score attack elements of it, pretty much, TLDR. But they also have Knuckles, and Knuckles is way more of a mix between Sonic and Tails, because he has these like very combat-oriented things. You can hold a lot of these buttons, do crazy shit, but he also has a lot of really cool things like this. Oh my god, you can go into the ground, and then that'll make you go really fast. That's an insane way to build momentum. He has the little stomp thing, and you, oh my god, you just fucking plow through enemies with that. And he also has, obviously, his token dive and everything, or his glide. It's amazing. It's amazing. Knuckles is easily one of the better characters in the game. I still think I like Sonic more, just because something about his moveset feels so perfect to tie together. It just feels amazing, and it's honestly the most fun aspect for me. But these characters are really cool too, and just play this game. Play this game, it's so good.